Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final Yellowjackets Hive After Dark episode of Season 2.
Yeah.
How did we get here so fast, Emily? Did it not just fly right by?
It went so fast. I'm like a little sad.
Yeah, no, same. I mean, it's going to be a little while until we're back with our live after shows, of course, but we've got plenty of things up our sleeves for between seasons. So before we get started, why don't we just shout out our friend Jessica here in the comments early, always dropping some love. We appreciate all of you guys. And honestly, you all in the comments have been one of the biggest highlights of this entire season for us. So again, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
And because of all of the awesome fan interactions and participation, we actually landed ourselves a partnership with Cord Cutting. Not much is going to actually change, except we're going to be doing more exclusive content on their YouTube. So be sure to head over and subscribe to cordcutting.com at youtube.com/@cordcutting. Search cordcutting.com. Just be sure to subscribe to their channel. That way you will not miss any of our exclusive content and a bunch of the fun stuff that we have coming up. So hooray, Emily. It feels good to end the season on a high note.
Yes, and more content.
Yes, definitely more content. We are very excited to bring that to you. And, we also had a chance to do a collaboration here with our friend James on Instagram. His handle is I am James Shaw, and we did a season 2 reaction video with him. So go check it out. That was a lot of fun. I feel like,
Emily, so much fun.
We had a good time doing that. So we appreciate him and the opportunity to collaborate with other Yellowjackets content creators.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm glad he asked us.
Same here. So before we get started with our initial reactions on episode 209 Storytelling, which was, of course, the season finale, Emily, I'm going to do our last Would You Rather of the season. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
All right. Would you rather see Van's cancer magically cured and get Lauren Ambrose for the remainder of the series, or discover there's another survivor in the adult timeline?
That's a hard one. Like, after the finale, I don't know what to think about adult Van anymore. Because of the way that she acted, in regards to what they did in chasing Shauna and all that stuff. She was, into it. So part of me wants to say, I would want to save her, but I'm also super curious, would be super curious to see another adult survivor. So I think I'm going to go with another survivor.
All right, we've got some mixed reactions in the comments here. Dustin says, survivor in the adult timeline, adult Van, I want to be hunted. Hey, fair enough. Our friend Joe, new survivor, sorry. Lisa Matthews, discover there's another survivor. And Shelly earlier had said cure Van's cancer. So a little bit of a mixed bag there. But
what would you choose?
I think I'd want the other survivor. I love Lauren Ambrose and I do love Van, also feel the same way regarding mixed feelings. However, seeing an adult Akilah or Mari or Jen or Melissa, I would love another solid casting in the present day timeline. I think that could be good for the show.
Yeah, especially considering we just lost a cast member.
I mean, we kind of knew it was coming. We've heard that we were going to be losing an adult cast member. We actually lost a couple of people in the adult timeline, including Kevin Tan, who I did not see that coming. I was expecting Corn Stash to be gone before Kevin.
Yeah. I did have a feeling though that when Walter handed him that cup that there was something going on.
I said out loud to my husband, he's a goner. He is probably going to be collapsing on the floor. And sure enough, he did. So we see a lot of you posting here in the comments a secret word. We posted the secret word on our socials earlier, and we're doing a co-ed naked giveaway. So for everybody who drops that secret word in the comments during this live stream, you'll be entered into our giveaway. We're going to give away a co-ed naked shirt. We can do our podcasting one with the Hive After Dark. We could do a soccer one, really any shirt you want at co-ed naked. One lucky person will win. You just have to be over 16 years old and live in the United States. So that is that. And speaking of that, we actually saw Travis wearing the co-ed naked shirt in this past episode. They have indeed passed it around, which again adds to the suspense of who's who in that cannibal council situation.
Yeah. When they had a marathon on all day and I had it on in the background and episode 6 was on, and in the scene where Ty brings the bassinet into the bedroom for Shauna, like in her dream, I saw Ty wearing the co-ed naked shirt, and that was the first time I'd seen her wearing it too. So it's definitely being passed around among a lot of people. But when I saw it on Travis, for some reason, it just made me feel like maybe he's the person that was standing over the pit in the pilot.
Ooh, that would be a twist. And of course, now we also have an answer as to, at least for now, who the Antler Queen is, or the Oracle, as was written in the script. Of course, the Antler Queen was a term coined by the fandom.
Yeah.
Go us. We've coined some good stuff, Emily, between MFQ and Cabin Daddy. We've got some pretty good ones. So why don't we talk about the storytelling description? Why don't you read that to us?
Heavy is the head that wears the antler crown is a lesson you don't learn until much later in life, if you ever even learn at all. Everything's about to get really wilderness, and we're so excited, and so scared to find out who paid attention to what lessons and when. So on the count of 3, you may pick up your pencil, open your testing booklet, and start this finale exam. 1, 2.
Can I just say I love the "so excited" reference, which I believe does reference Saved by the Bell, of course, the Jesse Spano caffeine pill storyline, which I loved. Saved by the Bell. I have met Mark Paul Gosselaar before. Crowning moment of my life. Quick side note. The clues from storytelling, Emily, walk us through the 3 things we got on our Showtime mailer this week.
So we see a gun, and we've deduced like that's a straitjacket, right?
Straitjacket.
And the masks, like they look like the masks that we saw earlier in season 1 on Lottie's cult members.
Yes, and of course the adults did don masks in this episode for their hunt, which escalated kind of fast in my opinion. I was surprised to see, at first it was all stalling, and then it turned into the card draws, and then all of a sudden everyone's actually hunting Shauna, and I was kind of like, how did we get there so fast? I thought this was all a stalling technique that did not work out.
Van seemed to be like pushing it along, like Shauna's shuffling the cards and Van is like, I think that's enough, like, and she's like, I'll start, like is ready to draw the card, like wasting no time, like she's like trying to get it going.
I thought it happened very fast. She sure did try to get it going. A lot of things happened during this hunt scene. I mean, we had Callie showing up. Of course, Jeff and Callie drove to the compound. That was kind of crazy. Walter, of course, set up the cops coming. Callie has a gun. Jeff is very concerned about not being able to Google himself ever again, which was maybe one of the funniest lines for me in the episode. I loved that. Things escalated fast, though. Callie shooting Lottie. That was unexpected. Lottie looking adoringly at Callie as if she wishes she were part of her cult. Is like, this your daughter?
She's so powerful. Yeah, like the way she looked at her was like creepy. It was really creepy.
Very creepy. And as everyone in the comments is saying, Van definitely was over there trying to get her cancer cured. She did want the sacrifice. Totally team Lottie, all about the wilderness and the hunt. And at the end, Lottie did say to Van, the wilderness is happy, you'll see, or it liked its sacrifice. And do you think that was pleased
with us?
It is pleased with us. Do you think that alludes to the fact that maybe her cancer will get cured? And is that feasible?
It seemed like it was like hinting at that, the way that Lottie said that. And like when she said, you'll see, she looked right at Van, and Van got this look in her eyes. Like, does she know something? Like, how would Lottie know that I'm even sick? But I definitely think that it's a possibility that Van was like egging that along because like she was thinking that if they sacrificed something that maybe she would be rewarded and her cancer would be cured.
I'm curious to find out if this means that it will, and we do, in fact, get Lauren Ambrose for much longer. The passage of time in season 2 in the adult timeline, though, let's talk a little bit about that. do we think it's been a week or two since season 1? I mean, it's not been a long time.
I think it's been like a week max, honestly. Like the time moves by so much like quicker in the adult timeline than it does in the teen timeline. Like the teen timeline, like we're seeing months and months, and like we're only seeing days in the adult timeline. Like, but it feels like it's so much longer than it actually is. Like,
yes, because a lot has happened.
So much happened in such a short time. Yeah.
Such a short time. And Walter, right? He was only supposed to be here for 1 season. Do you suspect this means he will in fact be back for season 3? Because I think so, and I could not be happier about it.
I definitely think there's a chance, and I would be super happy about it too. Like I loved everything about him. It was so great the way that he took charge, and his first interaction with Jeff was so funny. Like, because he's like, "Can you help me move this body?" And Jeff is just like, "What? Like, what are you even talking about?" Like, Jeff can't wrap his brain around the fact that Kevin is dead.
Yeah, I loved that Walter scene. I wanted to pull up Vine's tweet really quick. Hey, Vine, I know you're there in the chat. Walter was singing a song, Send in the Clowns, by Barbara Streisand when when Kevin Tan walked in. Mm-hmm. And as Vine said, with him singing the song, I just want to ask, what does he regret not doing? Because the song is apparently about deep regret and furious anger. So what does he deeply regret and what is he angry about? That is a really good question.
That's really interesting. I never thought about it. Like, I just thought he was singing show tunes. I didn't think about what the words actually meant.
Yeah, I am curious to know. And I do think that Misty's going to need a shoulder to lean on. I think the other Yellowjackets are probably going to be having some mixed feelings about MFQ after what happened. But of course, it was an accident. Now, there's been a lot of this.
She did intend to kill someone else.
She did. She did have a vial of poison there, or a needle to inject somebody. So indeed, indeed, yes, she brought it to the cult compound. So it could have been meant for anybody. Yeah. There have been mixed reactions about the finale in season 2. A lot of people did not love the way things turned out with Nat's death specifically. Of course, she was an addict, and they made her death by OD. And I can understand why people aren't happy about that, because just as a character, I feel like she deserves so much better. And for that to be her life-ending narrative, that sucks after all the hard work she's put in and the self-discovery. But do you think she was there this entire time working on herself? Or do you think that this was all a ploy to get Lottie locked up again because she didn't agree with it? I mean, her and Lisa really bonded, so she seemed to have a genuine connection there and concern.
I think she at one point was really searching for a way to forgive herself for everything that they did, and being at Lottie's and making this friendship with Lisa, she was learning things, and she was opening up for the first time in a long time, and feeling things that she hadn't felt in decades. So I definitely think that she was trying to move past what happened to them, and maybe she wanted to get Lottie locked up, but I think she also wanted to find peace. She really wanted that. She had so much pain in her life. So it was just so sad to watch it be made out to look like after she finally actually was starting to get help for herself, to make it look like she died from what everybody would assume she died from, when it wasn't the case.
That's true. As Allison has mentioned too, I think she just wanted the truth from Lottie about Travis, which is also a very good point, because who knows when we will get that clarity, because Lottie has been spiraling quite a bit and is of course going to be locked up and is in for some dark times in the next season.
Yeah.
And like Lisa said, I don't think she forgave Lottie for Travis, and probably not. Kim, our friend Kim, by the way, Kim, I owe you a clip of your time on here last time. I'm hearing rumors that Walter was the Parsippany poisoner now rather than Misty. That is fascinating. I mean, there's a lot to this whole Reddit integration into the show, which is just such a genius way to incorporate these message board citizen detectives on. And boy, I would love to know that. That is a really good question. I mean, they could end up being a serial killer like couple, Misty and Walter, and do these things together, which is interesting. Oh, our friend Board Now, Keith is here. Oh, sorry about that. No big deal. We will get to that one as well. Keith said they handled the death well, I thought. It works to the character's ultimate fate. She's just a doomed, tragic character ever since the wilderness. You need to kill off big characters for stakes. And that is a very good take. And as her younger self said to her on the airplane in that death scene, we've been here for years, which kind of means that her heart, that darkness, it was
crushed me.
That was 100% crushing. I thought this death scene rang a little bit losty for me in a way. And for a second, I was like, have they just been dead the whole time? And this is, the plain death scene. But those moments there were interesting. And in the article I read with Karin, they said that they actually shot a bunch of different options for this with Javi, Nat, and Lottie laughing at her in kind of a malicious way. So that was an alternate.
I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yes, and she referenced in the article, I believe it was the Hollywood Reporter article, that they felt it wasn't right and a good fit. And I'm so glad they did not do that because this made it more meaningful, a little bit deeper. And I would have been upset having people laughing at her. It was such a dark, heavy moment that
it made me so sad that she saw Javi too, because in that moment, it was so clear that she never forgave herself for the fact that she let him die in her place, and she carried that guilt with her for the rest of her life, to the point that she saw him in her dying moments.
Right. And that wraps up a little bit, like Kim is saying, back to the scene with her dad in the plane in season 1. So, and of course, her imagining Misty at the bonfire in the pilot, which is something that they've tied together in what Karin referenced as an angel of death sense. And that's what that was. That's why Nat was seeing that. It played with time and was really there for that payoff moment. So that's how that all came together.
I personally felt like it would have been a little bit more impactful if they would have shown her with Travis too. Because there's I know it's Travis is not a popular character. A lot of people don't like his character, but you can't deny the fact that their storyline, especially in season 1 and 2, was so intertwined and interwoven with each other. He was a lot of the reason why Natalie was the way she was. And I felt like it would have just been so meaningful to see him right before she died. Maybe it would have been a comfort to her almost.
Yes, definitely. Gosh, Javi's death too. We haven't even talked about Javi's death. Sorry to get off subject. I was looking at the pictures here and realized I wanted to talk about that. And now I'm showing the wrong comment, which I need to get off. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Everybody got a little sidetracked here. So the Javi situation at the beginning, right? Can we talk about how flash frozen he looks here? Yeah. And can we talk about how graphic the scene was with draining his blood and talk about spilling the blood? That was something.
Yeah. And I thought it was very interesting that Shauna volunteered for the job, but yet she still had to cover her eyes to do what she had to do at first, because this was the first time she was actually butchering a person. She didn't have to do anything to Jackie. Jackie was a barbecue for them. She was cooked for them. They didn't have to do anything.
Indeed, which our friend Rotem Rusak from Nerdist called soft cannibalism. And I was going to play this clip at the end when we were going over highlights from the season, but I'm going to play it right now because it ties in perfectly with what you just said.
Well, I actually thought that this is what we could call soft cannibalism, right? They didn't exactly kill Jackie. Jackie decided to be out and freeze. And then they did decide to eat her, but she was kind of they didn't really mean to cook her, and they didn't murder her in a sense. So it was kind of I think they set it up really
cannibalism.
Cleverly.
I like
soft
that.
Cannibalism. Exactly. You heard it here first, folks. It's not like like they didn't really mean to kill and consume her. It just became like the best option. It almost became like a sensical option. And I think they set it up really nicely in the episode because when they were like building the pyre for Jackie, they have this argument about whether they should take her jacket. And is taking her jacket that different from taking her meat at this point, like in their need to survive? It's like, actually, it probably isn't that different.
It was so nice having Ro on the podcast. We will be having her back again for something in between seasons, so that will be a lot of fun. But I do think it's safe to say we are in the hard cannibalism phase of the show. We have moved on beyond the soft cannibalism, and we are here with the hard stuff.
Yeah. Allison says Shauna took on that burden for the whole group, even told the other girls to go inside so they wouldn't have to watch. Yes, that's true. She did tell them to go inside.
She sure did. And I feel like her doing that made her feel a little entitled to having hurt feelings when she was not chosen as the next leader. As her journal entry said, how would it not have been me? After everything, when I was the only one willing to do what it took to keep us all fed, I used to think it was Jackie who made me feel invisible. But I was surprised by that a little bit. I don't know why she would feel so entitled. I get it. She has an important job. But to Lottie's point, it chose to save Natalie. So
I feel like Shauna like equates like her being pregnant and like losing her baby as like a huge sacrifice for the group. So I think that's like a big reason why she felt like it should have been her, because she's the one that lost things out there. Like the other girls didn't lose a best friend, didn't lose a baby. Like, so she feels like she's very much owed the leadership position.
As our friend Nine Brick City is saying, hey, Alyssa, how's it going? Always the butcher, never the queen. Love that. That is a good take. I enjoyed that.
She most definitely is the butcher.
And now we're eventually going to have Pit Girl come into play, in which they don't directly like murder her and kill her. The Spikes in the pit did. And we still have not had any answers on Pit Girl yet. I did notice Jen's hair is getting a lot longer, so I'm still thinking it's Jen.
The line that Lottie says when they're hunting Shauna, like made me think about the Pit Girl scene. Like she says, like we used to, you can submit or you can run. So clearly that girl in the pit is somebody that chose to run away from them, like in this hunting process. So like, and when they're drawing cards, Lottie says to Thaisa, you know what happens if you refuse to draw. And so that to me kind of meant like they obviously like fine tune this as they go along, and like they make new rules. They might get rid of some rules that they don't like or don't work, and they like tailor it to fit what they're trying to do in a way.
There is a comment. Do we think all the survivors were once the queen? I think that's likely. And what if at the cliffhanger of each season, there's a new queen crowned and then they die in the adult timeline? Like Nat did. They really do pass the antler. So let's say Nat is the antler queen or the oracle for however long. She's in charge. She's the leader. And then something else happens. They crown somebody else. Does that mean that, say, if it's Shauna will then die in the adult timeline during that, and they are kind of mirroring each other? I think there's a possibility of that.
I never considered that until right now.
I mean, just saying. And another thing I wanted to talk about was when Van started telling them a story at the end, and she said, once upon a time, there was a place called the Wilderness. Now, we know that Jason Ritter shot season 2. We know that he did not work with Melanie Lynskey, and he was filming for the Wilderness timeline or before that. I wonder if they had actually shot that footage to interweave with Van's fairy tale and they had to cut it out, because we know they've cut out a lot of long scenes for now. So we've speculated that, maybe we'll get a standalone Cabin Daddy episode on Father's Day or something. But then when I rewatched, I was like, you know what? It would almost make sense for that to have been some kind of a flashback for that fairy tale. And maybe that's what Jason Ritter was up to.
That thought actually crossed my mind, like when she started telling the story, like for a brief second, like, are we going to get a flashback of something that happened in the past? But obviously that didn't happen. But that article did say we will see him at some point. So I have hope at least. And there was another scene that we never saw in the season. The scene of Coach Ben saying buzz, buzz, buzz to all the girls in the cabin. We never saw that scene either.
We did not. And we also know that there was a scene cut about how they arrived at the decision to draw the cards and do the hunt. That was also cut out. Hopefully we'll get to see that later in footage. But to your point about Jason Ritter, back to that really quick, Entertainment Tonight did put that article out, which we shared. They actually featured our tweet in it about Cabin Daddy. So thanks to Entertainment Tonight for featuring our tweet there. That was really cool. And they did definitively say Jason Ritter will be there at some point. I wonder if it'll be a bonus, if it'll be a flashback, if it'll be a webisode, perhaps something like The Walking Dead has done. Either way, hopefully we get something and we get it kind of soon.
I know. I keep having to remind myself that like there's nothing coming after this for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the writer's strike going, of course, and I keep coming back to the fact this is the finale. I can't believe how fast this season has flown by. We've been doing these after shows every week, and it's been so much fun. I'm going to give you guys another prompt to drop that secret word. If you know it, make sure you drop it for a chance to win a Co-Ed Naked shirt. We're going to pick the winner on our recap this week. So if you don't know it or see it there, head over to our Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. You'll find it, and go ahead and do that.
We have a question.
Yes. The bonus ep. What do you know, or where did you get these thoughts? This is just all us speculating. But now we know for sure. Entertainment Tonight confirmed that Jason Ritter will be there. We had known he filmed from articles that they had put out. And there was the behind the scenes photos that were released that were actually taken down on Instagram as well, with him wearing the cabin coat.
And Ashley Lyle made that tweet, never say no to bonus episodes. So that's where we're really getting the idea from.
Yes, exactly. She did then say something like, I may or may not have been drinking a bunch of like margaritas and said too much. So hopefully saying too much means there is actually something behind those mysterious tweets. Okay. I think Ben started the fire. Let's talk about Ben and the fire, because there are different thoughts. I assumed Ben started the fire because we saw him with matches. It could have been that he was just taking them back to his little tree cave so that way he could have fire because he was struggling to start it. Or he didn't like what was going on after he talked to Nat, saw that Nat was a lost cause. They're eating Javi. And he's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just burning this shit down.
He looked in the window and saw them all bowing down to Natalie. And I think in that moment, he thought, like, even Natalie's too far gone now. Like, there's no helping or saving these girls from themselves anymore. And that, like, he has no other way to solve his problem, because what is he going to do? He has one leg. Like, he can't take charge. He can't physically overpower them. Like, he doesn't have a lot of options. And he took it pretty drastic if he really did start that fire.
He sure did. And some people in the comments are saying, I think Javi's friend found out what they did and they did that. So if that's the case, who's Javi's friend? We thought maybe it was Fugue Tai. We did see a lantern down in the cave, which Javi could have taken, or perhaps Fugue Tai while sleepwalking. Or is it some like magical underground tree root community of women with long hair living in the tree wilderness? I don't know.
I hope it's nothing like that, because that will make me think of Lost. Like, bringing in elements like that. I want it to be rooted in reality for the most part. Like, they're the villains, like, not I don't want there to be like another group of people out there that they've never come in contact with. Like, that's a thing that I do not want to happen.
Definitely not. And it'll be interesting to see, too, if Nat rats him out. Nat knows that Javi was bowing to those trees. She knows that it was one of the symbol trees, and Coach told her about it. So is she going to keep that between them because she and respects Ben and they have a good relationship? Or is she going to use that to her advantage and they go hunt and kill him like a poor little animal in the cave?
I was thinking, like, do they realize he's not there, like, at all, like, when they realize the cabin's on fire? Like, because Natalie is the only one that paid any attention to him not being there. And in all that confusion, like, she might have forgotten that, like, he wasn't there. So do they maybe assume that he's dead?
That could be, or it's like Crystal and none of them are really worried about it because they have other things going on. I mean, they're, eating Javi's body. Also, can I just say Travis taking that bite out of the heart raw was really tough to watch. I thought it was interesting. I was kind of grossed out. My husband's like, oh no, that's like a Native American thing. They take a bite of a raw organ and whatever. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I Googled it, and that is actually a fact. I wanted to come back to Allison's comment quick too. If Javi's friend is Fugue Ty, she wouldn't have been able to bar the doors from the outside with Ty inside. Really good point. So you know what? That means Fugue Ty is not Javi's friend if in fact Javi's friend did burn the cabin down and it was not Coach Ben or the wilderness as a force.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was having a conversation with somebody the other day and they brought up that point that you just said. They were like, what if it was the wilderness that started the fire somehow? Like, what if this entity that's out there is angry at them and wanted them dead? But I think we were meant to think that Ben started that fire because they very visibly show him picking up a box of matches. And how else are you going to light a cabin on fire? Like, it's made of wood. So you need some kind of accelerant to light it on fire. You need something like a match.
That's right. And why would the wilderness be punishing them for eating Javi? All this time, they get rewarded every time blood spills. The time when the wilderness happened to drop the snow down on Jackie to cook her to just the perfect temperature where they could eat her, that was the wilderness helping them out. I just can't see it destroying its cabin that is so symbolic of everything in the wilderness and everything that's happening. So I lean towards Ben starting the fire, unless it is a red herring.
But he really did not think about what would happen if his plan didn't go the way that he wanted it to go. Like, because now these girls are the bad people in his story. Like, they're going to realize that this cabin didn't just like spontaneously combust.
No.
They're not stupid. And they're going to realize that he wasn't there. So I'm assuming they're going to put 2 and 2 together.
I think so. And of course, the next question is, where do they go from here? Do they go back to the plane wreckage? Do they go and find Ben and take over the caves? Is this when they discover that all of the trees actually have this underground, maybe connected root cave system happening?
I definitely think that there's a possibility that there are, maybe they're not like all connected, but that there are little caves underneath each tree with the symbol. I think like those symbols were there for a reason. And when Ben goes up to the tree in episode 8, like you can see like steam like coming up from the hole. Like Javi had covered the hole with like branches. So maybe there are openings like that out in the open at all of these trees, and they just haven't found them yet.
It's definitely possible. We surmise that we have seen the multiple trees with the melting, that it's not just been that one. And just looking at their faces at the end here, I don't have the picture of Lottie, but she was kind of smiling at the cabin burning down to Vine's point earlier.
She looked like gleeful, like happy that was happening. And when I looked at her facial expression, it just brought me back to when they first found the cabin in season 1. And Lottie says, I have a bad feeling about this place. Like, she did not like that place from the get-go, but she knew that they had no choice, and it was their only form of shelter. So she had to go with it. But I don't think she was ever okay with like the energy that she felt within that place.
I completely agree with that. And just, I didn't pull the picture with all of them at the end of the bonfire, or maybe I did and I can't find it, but we don't see the extras. So we saw during the chase scene where they were all hunting Javi on the ice, there were 3 additional extras who we have not met yet. Their faces were covered. I counted like 5 times at the very end when the cabin was burning down. And unless they're totally hidden behind the rest of the girls, those other 3 extras aren't there. So did they just not put them in because it's too obvious? Did they perish in the fire? What are your thoughts on these extras? Are they going to just bring them back in season 3?
Well, in the hunt scene in episode 8, I did see an extra like behind some of the girls when they were hunting Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any at the end, like when they were all outside in the fire, but when we asked Nia about it in our episode about these extras, she didn't want to answer the question. So that really makes me think that they will come into play later.
Oh, Little Rose said the extras were off to the side. You can only see them when the shot pans out. I guess I totally missed that. So I would love to see a screenshot of that.
Here's a behind the scenes one of them all looking at it.
Right.
But all I see there is like Mari, Lottie, Shauna, Misty, Travis.
No Akilah, Jen, Melissa, unless they're ducking behind, but I don't see feet to accommodate that. Although it looks like in between Shauna and Misty, there could potentially be somebody ducking down in there. And it's so interesting how that fire in the teen timeline really mirrors the adult women and the bonfire. And in one of the articles I was reading, this night shoot they did was across 2 or 3 nights, and it was cold and rainy. And so there was a lot of emotion. It was highly emotionally charged. This was, of course, a very big scene. Christina Ricci had some emotions surrounding it, of course. And she had posted that Instagram post in which she then later edited about taking the time to really appreciate working with people when you're there, because you don't know when it's gonna, end. And it is really sad to see Juliette Lewis not on the show anymore after season 2. And I hope that means maybe they will replace her with another survivor. I hope. I'd love to see Akilah.
Adult Nat and Adult Misty was by far my favorite duo of this entire show. Like their comedic banter with each other in season 1 was by far my favorite. Like they were just so funny together. And yeah, I'm really sad that we won't get to see that again.
Akilah and Jen are behind Ty and Van in that pick. Okay, well that's definitely good. Good. Okay. I am really dying to know about the extras, though. I really want to know, are they going to open up the season 3, episode 1, similar to how they did with introducing Melissa and Jen and Crystal? Maybe.
I thought maybe the extras like burn in the fire and they eat their bodies or something like that.
That could be, although they don't seem very upset if there is anybody missing. Let's talk about what each person grabbed from the cabin on their way out, too, because I find that to be fascinating. Let's start with Misty, who grabs the pee and poop bucket and maybe also the axe. At least the pee and poop bucket. I know
the axe was grabbed. I know what was grabbed. I can't say for sure who grabbed what, except I know Van grabbed the playing cards.
Yep, she went back in to grab the playing cards, which is a ballsy move, but she's kind of invincible, so I don't think she was too concerned about dying because, why is she going to die now? I believe in Vine's tweet, she said something like, Misty grabbed the pee and poop bucket because it was the last thing Crystal touched, and that really resonated with me. Oh my God, poor MFQ, who of course now has killed her bestie in both timelines, which is devastating for her as a character and Christina Ricci as an actor. I still cannot get over how that all ended. Oh, Taissa grabbed the axe. Okay, Taissa grabbed the axe.
That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. I know Natalie grabbed the gun.
Mm-hmm. And probably bullets. They had jars of bullets.
Someone definitely grabbed a jar of bullets. They all obviously grabbed blankets. Somebody grabbed the frying pan.
Bunch of blankets, some clothes, all that sort of thing. And it's a good thing that Shauna was up journaling. What if she hadn't been up journaling? Would they have even gotten out? I mean,
leave it to Shauna, like sitting up talking shit, and that's how she saves everybody's life.
Alyssa has a good point. I thought Ben had the axe, though, and that is a good point because when he was outside, he did grab it out of the stump. Okay, 2 axes. Okay, good. Thank you.
Because when Taissa goes off on her expedition in the first season, Natalie tells her she can't take the gun, and Taissa says, well, I'll take one of the axes.
Okay.
So they had at least 2. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. And Shauna grabbed Jackie's dress, which is...
Is that what she grabbed from the attic? Oh my gosh. Why that of all things? Like, that's so random.
It's her last piece she has of her best friend. They burned her jacket. So, there is that. They did get the knife. Van grabbed the crowbar. Tiffany said they need the bucket for water. They're going to have to clean it really well. Yeah, they are. Oh my God. I don't know if all the UV rays in the world would sanitize that thing enough for me to put drinking water in there.
Yes,
Shauna's saltiness saved them all. That's hilarious. I love that.
I agree.
And circling back to Shauna in the adult timeline and Callie, I'm wondering if this means Callie's going to have a bigger role. It's almost like she was enjoying this whole situation from the get-go. We saw her at the beginning of the season ambivalent, breaking up with her boyfriend, wanting to vape her head off. Now all of a sudden she's got all this action. Her mom's a murderer. She's involved with this cop, which is kind of like scary. But when you're like a 16-year-old, it's all a little exciting too, isn't it? Yeah. So her with the gun, her driving with her dad to go save her or whatever. I just think she's going to be wanting in on some of Shauna's madness moving forward.
I could see that, and I could see Shauna letting her in to her madness. Like, she already has. Like, look at where Callie ended up. Callie ended up at a cult compound with a gun. Like, and she's 16.
Oh my God. And speaking of the cult, there was a new message at the Sunshine Honey Wellness Center this week. If you have not yet called it, let me see. I think I have a banner with the phone number. Yes. Okay. Call Sunshine Honey Wellness 607-478-1033 and you will hear a new message. And who is it this time, Emily?
It's Lisa this time. And it's really interesting. I don't have like the message like transcribed or anything, but I know at the end she does say that same quote that suffering is inevitable, whatever she says to Natalie about how suffering is inevitable. But you can hear people in the background saying like, Lisa, time's up. Like, they're yelling at her to hurry up, and she says the lights are getting shut off. I can't remember everything else that she says, but like, it sounds like they're all leaving in a hurry, which I listened to the message before this episode aired. So I was thinking like, what if they end up hunting one of Lottie's cult members? Like, and they were all running away from Lottie and all the rest of the adult Yellowjackets, because that message, like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense now.
Right. And are we going to see Lisa again? Nicole Maines was a really fun addition to the season. If you did not catch the interview that our friend Kelly McClure, Nights and Weekends editor at Salon, she did a really excellent interview with her earlier in the season. So don't miss that. But I'm curious to see, will we see Lisa again? It seems like she was there as sort of a device to move along Natalie's storyline and arc. So maybe not. Maybe she's gone.
She did hear them talking about some stuff that they don't want other people knowing. Like, she heard them talking about how they killed people. So that makes me wonder if she'll be around for other reasons. Like, is she another loose end now that needs to be tied up because their secrets can't get out? Like, I don't know.
I don't know either. Tiffany is asking, can you make a post transcribing all the messages so far? We could put that on our radar, perhaps. I feel like Jamie, Trip to Jamie Land on Twitter, has put something on their Twitter feed. I don't know that it was a transcription, but it was the vocals or the recording.
You can only access the message that's currently on there right now. So all the previous ones, I'd have no way to listen to them to write them down.
That's true, unless somebody does have a transcription out there. If you do, please send it to us. That would be fantastic. Oh, does somebody have one? Oh my God, Lisa Matthews has them all transcribed. What? Cheers to you. We bow to you, Lisa Matthews, for that. Thank you. That's amazing. Send it to us. We'll figure something out. We will go ahead and do that. Yay. See, dreams do come true, you guys. It's all about the collaborative experience. I think, again, that's been one of our favorite parts of this entire season is these live chats. Oh my goodness, it's been so much fun. There was another comment I wanted. Oh, Kennedy. I would like to see a 1998 timeline. You know what? Yeah. I would too. That's the year I graduated high school. I want all 1998. Yes.
My husband actually brought that up when we were just sitting watching. He was like, at the beginning of this season, they brought up that scene of them being rescued, but they never showed that again. Like, why would they put that in there? Like, that was really random.
It was really just that one time. We saw Lottie getting the electroshock treatment and all that. So perhaps that's something to come. We did see another flashback pre-flight in their sex ed or their health class when Coach Ben was teaching them about delivery and babies and all that stuff. But yeah, I would love to see a 1998 timeline. And Kim, your comment. I can't get over how different Lottie ended up being this season from what I pictured in season 1. I totally thought she'd be this evil mastermind, but she's just as broken as everybody else. Indeed.
I fully expected Lottie to be the one that we see in the pilot wearing those antlers. So, like, if it really is Natalie, like, that will blow me away. Like, because they really made it look like Lottie was heading in that direction, and to have her like step down and like offer the power to somebody else is something that I never thought would happen. I never saw that coming.
She went from 0 to 60 in the last 5 minutes, and it was like a light bulb switched in her. It was complete escalation so fast. I don't know if you would call it a breakdown. I don't know what the right term is, but I don't know. Does that happen that
in
fast?
Crisis mode for sure.
They really, it was a misstep not calling in a psychological response team. I think that was what she needed. And, the ones that were wanting to do that, Shauna, Misty, they really wanted what was best for her. And it did not end up that way. And Nat ended up dead all because of it. So, yeah. As Dustin said, Lottie's the craziest of them all. She does have a severe mental illness. And we are actually going to be doing an episode covering the trauma of Yellowjackets with our friend Erin Quayle. She is on Twitter and she is a fan of the show. She's a writer for some of these different media outlets. And she is also a trained therapist in trauma. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And we've got some other guests up our sleeve for between seasons, topical episodes and that sort of thing, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And let's go back to this. Why would Travis tell Lottie to empty his bank account? So, Emily, you always had that theory that Javi lived and Javi had something to do with it. We know that was not the case, but I don't know if we're ever going to get an appropriate answer to what happened to Travis, because Lottie will never be a reliable narrator until she's medicated and seeing things clearer.
Yeah, like, because Lottie's behavior, like, the further the season progresses, like, made me question, like, maybe Travis's death was some kind of a sacrifice after all, because like, she's so hell-bent on them sacrificing one of them to solve their current day problems. And maybe she thought by sacrificing Travis, like, that would bring all the women all together or something like that.
She did, but it just keeps coming back to me that she gave them a chance to leave. She told them all to leave, that something was going to happen, but they didn't. And I guess that was just part of the escalation of what was going on. And to Keith Bourdnow's point, I think they all have mental illness, which was the point that Van was making. They 100% do. They've all got this darkness in them. They've all, like Teen Nat said to herself on the plane, oh my God, Alyssa, I have trauma from being a viewer now. Can we start a support group? You know what? We do have a support group for that. It is called our Patreon. And if you would like to join, visit patreon.com/Yellowjackets Hive Podcast. Nine Brick City Alyssa is one of our patrons. Thank you. We're actually going to be doing a patron Zoom after once we get our schedule kind of set for all of the content we're going to be creating. So that's going to be really fun. We can all just kind of gather, not a recorded thing, just a little hangout where we can all chat and we can all reminisce about the season. So yes, please.
It's a lot of fun.
It sure is. It sure is. Yes, let's see. What else do we have here for comments? As soon as Callie showed up during the Shauna hunt, they all snapped out of it.
They did. Natalie ripped that mask off so fast. Like almost like she was ashamed of what she was doing.
Yeah,
Lottie,
yes.
I don't think cared what anybody thought. Like, because once she was shot, like she just started talking about how could they hear it? Like, it's here with us now. Like, and Simone Kessell like really performed that scene like really well. Like her performance was excellent in that scene.
It was. I keep again going back to the fact that everything just escalated so fast for me. Even the Walter situation with him shooting Kevin Tan and fixing everything for Misty. We had speculated all season long. Is Walter a good guy? Does he love Misty? Is he really into her? Or is he somebody that maybe is tied to Adam, who was the bone marrow recipient or whatever? He's a good guy. He loves Misty. I feel confident saying that now. He accepts her even if she's a serial killer, which, by the way, we dropped our Patreon episode, Is MFQ a Serial Killer? Don't miss it. But they're a thing now. They're a boyfriend-girlfriend pair, and I'm really excited to see what that means for MFQ moving forward.
I did not realize when I watched the episode on Thursday night that when Walter walks up and shoots Kevin Tan, that he pulled Syracuse's gun out of the holster and uses his gun to shoot Kevin Tan. I thought Walter had his own gun. Like, I thought he just walked up with his own gun and just started shooting at him.
Yeah.
But that is so much better that he took Syracuse's gun, because then he like actually really made the story that he created like concrete with like actual DNA like evidence. Like, so freaking smart.
Yeah, this is an interesting one by Allison. I wonder if them seeing Callie brought them back to wilderness baby feelings. Maybe seeing Shauna's offspring, like Lottie said, is that your daughter, in that super creepy way? Maybe it did conjure up these wilderness baby feelings. I don't know. Little Rose, you are right. Walter is a closer, and he is a guy that I would rather have on my side any day of the week. Do not want to get on Walter's bad side. So
for sure.
One more thing I was thinking, we've gone back and forth about the postcards, and most people assume it was Jeff who sent them. And you know what? Maybe it was. It could have been Jeff. But what if Coach Ben is still out there in the wilderness and the postcards came from him? Is that wild? Is that silly? Am I just reading too much into it? I don't know.
I've seen that floating around.
Yeah.
It would sure be a major twist for him to be sending out postcards saying, "Wish you were here." Like, I've seen some people saying, like, what if he stays in this cave for the rest of the time, and when they're rescued, like, he isn't found with them, and like he just ends up living in the woods forever?
Yeah, like Kim is saying, I'm hoping for Ben to be the big bad of season 3, and it sure is stacking up like that.
I don't know, man. I think there's a chance that it could be Shauna, because Shauna, like, very clearly wanted to be given that role of the leader, and she was pissed when she didn't get chosen.
She was, and that would mean that she would be dying at the end of season 3 if they follow suit with that same pattern of new leader in the wilderness, kill him off in the adult timeline.
Yeah. That would be something.
Interesting. Allison said he could still be in the wilderness as Cabin Daddy 2.0, and maybe they're saving that for this Jason Ritter stuff. I am obsessed with the Jason Ritter footage. I want to see Jason Ritter so bad.
I know, especially because they released those pictures of him with those little kids on set. Like, the jacket that he was wearing, like, I need to know why he was wearing the jacket that Travis is wearing in the teen timeline. I need to know.
Yes. And my comment about Shauna being killed is very unpopular in the comments right now. Sorry, issuing an apology. I think Melanie makes it to the end. Alex said not allowed to kill off Melanie. Sorry. You know what? That is a good point.
I don't think she's going anywhere.
if she's their main character, what's her end game? What is her end game? That is a really good question. And I hope the Jason Ritter stuff comes early in season 3. Me too. Oh my goodness.
I still like, even like days after watching, like I still can't believe that the cabin burned down. Like that was the biggest like mind fuck for me for the whole episode. Like, because we knew a death was coming in the adult timeline and we kind of like speculated that it could have been Natalie, but definitely didn't have the cabin burning down on my bingo card. That's for sure.
Did not have that. And as Vine's saying, it makes so much more sense having Misty as the first one to be unmasked now from that cannibal council stuff we saw back in the pilot, especially since we know Misty's the overseer of the group, the supervisor of the group. That is interesting. That does coincide, definitely.
Yeah.
God is alive, magic is afoot. That was an amazing song. We haven't really talked about the music, but for me, opening the show with Zombie was everything.
The music this episode I was so pleased with. Like I felt like the song choices were absolutely perfect. Like I loved the Killing Moon when they crowned Natalie as Antler Queen and when the cabin was burning down. Like both versions of the song I loved and thought fit so perfectly with the scene.
Yep, the Radiohead. I mean the music.
The Radiohead.
The Radiohead. Yeah, I always with the music.
Chills.
It did. I love the music from the season. I'm always very complimentary about it. They've kept it up. Season 2's been just as good as season 1, and I can't wait to see what season 3 brings in terms of the music.
Yeah, they really like outdid themselves this season. Like music was good last season, but this season, like they just had like needle drop after needle drop after needle drop.
Boy, interesting. Alex said, I heard a lot of people think the music is too heavy-handed for the season, but I disagree. Yeah, I don't know if it's too heavy-handed. I really also appreciated the Tori Amos songs. I thought those were fantastic. And the usage of Florence and the Machine. We had a couple songs in there, but also her cover of Just a Girl, No Doubt's Just a Girl, I thought was phenomenal. And Alanis Morissette with her No Return cover was also pretty amazing in my opinion. So I really liked all of it.
I really liked because we determined that like there's 2 episodes where they use the Alanis Morissette open this season and they sound different. Both of them sound different. I like the version that happened closer to the end of the season more than the first version that we heard. Because they definitely were a little bit different. I can't really explain why, but it just sounded cooler in my opinion.
And those episodes with those different opens of the No Return with Alanis, I feel like they were very heavy-handed with the hallucinations and the glitches and that sort of thing. So perhaps that was used as a differentiator to show the different hallucinations. We saw a lot in general of hallucinations this season, things that we saw in the teasers, in the trailers, that we assumed were going to be canon that were not, such as Rabies Girl is a really good example of that. Them eating the baby and that hallucination, the ghost plane and Lottie in the underground shopping mall, Ty and Steve, that whole, Ty and Sammy and Paul. I mean, there was a lot of hallucinating. We knew it was coming because they told us not everything you see will be real this season. And that was, in fact, so true.
Yeah, I feel like most of what we saw in the trailer was hallucination.
Mm-hmm. It really was, and that was a little unexpected. Oh, and Caligula. Let's not forget the Caligula situation. And as Serena is saying, just sad we didn't see the man with no eyes. And right? I thought we'd get a little bit more of that as well, and we did not. So I wonder where that will pick up. And Simone, Steve, Sammy, Caligula, lots of unattended people and pets going on in the adult timeline. What's going on there?
Yeah, my husband was like, isn't anybody wondering like where Taissa is? Like she just became a senator. Like nobody's questioning the fact that she's just like off in the middle of the woods. Like
Emily, look at this comment. Shelley, I think the fire could be a hallucination.
No,
I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of smoke on the pan out. Too bad it was at night and very far away, so that smoke will not signal them getting rescued, since we know they're only about halfway through. But
that might be another reason why Ben chose to light the fire at night, so that there wouldn't be a chance of anybody finding them.
Oh, that is a very good point. This comment is fascinating too. I feel like the glitches in the song was the girls' minds deteriorating more and more being out in the wilderness. And there was a lot of deterioration. The hunger, as we saw again, Mari with seeing the blood dripping from the walls. We saw Ty seeing her fugue self-reflection.
There was with the mouse.
Oh my God, Nugget. Oh my God. How fun was it talking to Nia Zendaya about Nugget? And
she was so sweet.
She really was so sweet. And her, we dropped a reel of this little clip, but when she said, when they asked her, "How do you feel about rodents?" I thought that was really funny. And yeah, the Nugget reveal was kind of a surprisingly big one. I enjoyed that, but to the point, the mental deterioration has gone completely downhill.
Yeah, they're all starting to lose it big time. And I think it's a mixture of things. Like, I think it's like cabin fever. It's also hunger. Like, it's all these different elements combined.
It is. And Kim has a comment here. I feel like the cabin fire,
I was looking at that one,
makes total sense based on the pilot. Misty sure looked cold and they had so many furs. So that does mean perhaps they are just living outside, right out of the plane wreckage. Maybe they do not seek shelter in the cave system. Maybe that means that Nat does in fact keep it a secret, because otherwise we would think that they'd be retreating back to the cave, right?
I was also wondering though, like, since the cabin is now burned down, like, where did all these animal furs come from that they're wearing? Like, were they in the cabin, or are they animals that they kill, like, from this point onward in the show, and they make their own animal skins?
Yeah, no, totally. I had to highlight this comment, just like Ben was like, "Fuck them kids, had to show that. Love that. I would love to see a Coach Ben adult reveal in season 3.
Me too. I really would.
And you know what? Let's not forget Misty's employers don't really seem to be worried about where she is either. Really good point.
Yeah, at least with Van, like, it's her own shop, so nobody's going to question her leaving.
Also, good question. I want to know why they never use the snowshoes in the cabin.
Yeah.
It's a good point. You would think with all the trekking that Travis and Nat were doing out there that one of them would have used the snowshoes, but they do make a nice prop hanging on the wall too, so.
Yeah.
Whew. Oh my goodness. I just still can't believe this was the finale. Of course, we are going to cover this more in our weekly recap. But, before we go, I thought we could run down some of the most exciting highlights that we've had this season. We had some really great interviews, Emily, just kind of patting ourselves on the back a little bit. We hustled really hard and made it happen. We got to talk to Kevin Alves before season 2 started. We talked to Luciano LaRue, of course, Javi, and we got him on the week that Javi came back, which could not have been better timing.
Loved him.
He was so sweet. Oh my goodness. I'm going to miss him. I'm definitely going to miss him
too. Like, I feel so bad because Javi was like such an innocent in all of this. Like, he didn't deserve what happened to him.
He did not. I love how he shared that he grew 6 inches between seasons and was the tallest one on the set. I thought that was really cute. Something we learned from speaking with all of the different Yellowjackets cast that we interviewed was that they love board games. They're all very competitive. It seems like between Kevin and Nia and Jenna, there was a lot of competition going on. Apparently, Sammi Hanratty also very good at exploding kittens. That was a lot of fun to talk about with all of them. Yeah. Jeff Holman, we got to talk to Randy Walsh, and he had all kinds of gems to share, which was a lot of fun. Of course, we had Jenna Burgess and Maya Lowe on. Jenna, who plays Melissa, Maya, who plays Jen, and Nuha Jess Isman. We got to speak with her the week Crystal kicked the bucket, which also came at a phenomenal time. And of course, Nia Zendaya, who was great. Love talking to her. And we got to speak with her and interview her with Kelly McClure, of course, our friend at Salon, Nights and Weekends editor. So that was a lot of fun. And we'll probably do something with Kelly again in the future as well.
Yes.
Ooh, maybe Javi ghost for Nat. I would love it if we see more ghosts. I mean, see, the other thing is, speaking of ghosts, is Ghost Jackie. Are we all of a sudden going to have Shauna stopping seeing Ghost Jackie in the adult timeline? I mean, we did not see Ghost Jackie in season 2, but we did see a lot of Ghost Jackie in season 1. So
yeah, I don't know why they like would not revisit that. Like if they showed it to us in the adult timeline, like not just the teen timeline. So to me, like that was an indication that like this was something that was happening to her, not on like a frequent basis, but like it had happened before. So yeah, that would be like, I would be annoyed if they never revisit that, honestly.
Yeah, no, same. Tiffany also said the costume designer interview is great too. We got to speak with Marie Schley, costume designer from season 1. We also got to speak with Mark Lane, the owner of Coed Naked, which spawned our Coed Naked collaboration, which is another huge highlight from the season. We had a ton of fun designing our Coed Naked podcasting shirt, Catch a Vibe in the Hive. Of course, we are giving one away tonight. Any Coed Naked shirt of your choice. Drop the secret word in the comments before the live stream ends. We will pick a winner and announce during our recap this week. Or if you'd like to buy one, you can also shop coednaked.com and use Hive20 to save 20%. So a huge shout out to everyone who's purchased one. We've had lots of pictures come through, and it's been really nice to see everybody with their Coed Naked shirts.
Yes,
indeed. And we do have a lot coming up in between seasons. We have some fun fan events. We're going to have some Patreon stuff. And of course, you guys, our crowning achievement of the season is our new partnership with Cord Cutting. Cord Cutting is a place you can go to learn more about where to stream your favorite shows. It's for TV fanatics just like us. So you can actually, the link's up on the screen, subscribe to their youtube.com/@cordcutting, and bookmark our page on cordcutting.com/yellowjackets-hive. That is our new Hive hub, Emily. We will have all of our episodes there, but also on the same places you're used to seeing them. So you'll see us on Twitter, you'll see our stuff on YouTube. The only difference is we have more opportunity now to create more exclusive content, and we'll have that on the Cord Cutting YouTube and site, which we cannot wait to bring you guys. Oh my goodness. Yes. And shout out to Stephen and Sherry over at Cord Cutting for working with us on this. It's been a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see where this goes, you guys. We can't spoil too much, but let's just say there's a lot of fun stuff ahead. And you know what? All of this, congratulations. Thank you guys. Well deserved. We appreciate that. Excellent. We are very excited about it. We really have worked so hard this season, and just to see all of you here with such positive comments and interacting. Michelle, love my Coed Naked shirts. We love you guys. I mean, we really, really do. Yes, and I don't even want to end this episode. I keep thinking like, oh, it's been over an hour. We normally keep this at 45 minutes, but I'm sad to say goodbye. I don't know when we're going to be doing another live after show. Of course, we'll still be doing live streams, but I'm really going to miss this.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. Like I said earlier, it's crazy that like 10 weeks have already gone by.
It really has been. And, you know, to everybody saying, damn, you girls are good. Thanks for making the season so much more enjoyable. Thank you. We love reviews also. If you listen to us on Apple or Spotify, please feel free to drop a 5-star review if we've earned it, of course. We always appreciate positive feedback. And as Nathan is saying, we need you guys during the writer's strike. We are here for you. We've got lots of fun stuff to get us through. And of course, we stand with the writers. We are WGA Strong. As an IATSE union member myself, I am totally with it in solidarity. So as long as it takes is how long it takes. And we are here for you in the meantime.
Yes, we're not going anywhere.
I know. Allison said it seems like the season just started. Fingers crossed for bonus episodes. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Mike is saying, please do another TV show series together. So we're actually going to be doing a crossover with another TV podcast. We're going to do an Only Murders in the Building recap from the last season before the next season kicks off, which is in August. So that's going to be fun. But also, we may have some other things up our sleeves. There are lots of other shows that are in the same vein as Yellowjackets that we'd love to cover, some that have the cast members, some that don't. But catch our Watch This Wednesday post too in the Reddit sub, because we like to recommend different shows there that are similar to Yellowjackets. And Emily, I just want to say thank you to you for everything that you do. The Reddit has grown so much this season thanks to all of your hard work, and you do so much there. So just thank you for that and everything. It's just been so much fun this season. I feel like I'm going to tear up.
Thank you. I love the community so much. Like it's just so much fun to interact with anybody in the fandom, like whether it be on Reddit or here or Facebook. Like most of my experiences have been super positive, and everybody has like offered great discussion.
Oh, so it's been absolutely been fantastic. And some people are asking other shows that we like. And Kim said, check out From on Prime. I actually just got current with that. The new episodes drop on Sunday. So I have been watching that. Silo on Apple TV is another good one. That's kind of this dystopian future, dark kind of show. I've been enjoying that. Them is another one that is pretty good, very dark. But we love sharing our other show recommendations too. There are so many. We love TV, Emily, don't we?
Yeah. Same. I watch From too. That's a good one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed From. It seems like everybody is watching From, although it seems like Alex is getting a little frustrated with it. So sorry about that. But that is a pretty good one. So yeah. Well, I guess Emily, it is time to say goodbye and officially wrap up the Hive After Dark for Yellowjackets season 2 with the utmost gratitude and buzz for all of you guys. Cannot thank you enough.
Yeah, thanks for being here every week with us.
And we'll still be here. Like we said, we're still doing live streams, still doing episodes. We've got our Patreon. We've still got our Co-ed Naked stuff. We've got our new partnership. Lots of fun things are buzzing around in the Hive. And it's thanks to all of you.
For sure.
All right. Well, we will see you guys very soon. Catch our recap this week.
Yes. So this will be the last time I'm saying this for a while. Until we spill again.